Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to give everyone just a couple of moments to filter in. And while we wait, please feel free to take a look at our nice starting slide and get pumped up for our chat today. We have a great chat. Sara, thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited. And Deeksha, our moderator today, thank you both so much for joining. Let me just go ahead and take care of a few housekeeping items before we get started and while everyone else continues to filter in. But welcome, everybody. My name is Jenna Quinn, and it's my pleasure as the Assistant Director of Alumni Engagement to welcome you all to this edition of the 49er Industry Chats. We just need to inform everyone that this chat is being recorded, which for you, that means that you'll be able to view this on demand on our website at www.csulb.edu/alumni, where you can share it with a friend, share it with a classmate, a colleague, anyone you might think would get some use out of this. Please do send it along. Since this is a webinar format, we encourage all of you that are with us here today live to use the Q&A box to submit your questions for our guest speaker. You don't have to wait until the end or anything. Once something comes into your head, just put it in the chat and our moderator will relay that to our speaker. And so with that, I am very happy to introduce our moderator today, Deeksha Bokade. Deeksha is a graduate student in the College of Business in Marketing Analytics and is currently enrolled in her third semester. After finishing graduation, she's going to be looking for a job in the marketing field and hopefully also specifically in digital marketing. She also has aspirations to build her own startup. And in her free time, she enjoys painting, hiking, and exploring new places. Thanks so much for joining us, Deeksha.
Thank you, Jenna, for the good introduction. Now it's a time to introduce our speaker, our guest, Sara. Sara is a senior level marketing and content strategist working across a brand and emerging technology to tell meaningful, purposeful stories that drive best-in-class consumer experiences. She has over 15 years of experience in marketing, working with brands and companies like Nissan, Hyundai, Sony Pictures, Microsoft, Yahoo, and many more. Her passion includes meditation, mindfulness practices, along with developing conscious tools for people to take their life and energy to next level. She has taken many certifications in mindfulness, energy healing, and proactivity. When she is not working on her campaigns, as she is a strategist, she enjoys being with her 15-month-old daughter, spending time in nature. So she's a nature lover. Thank you, Sara, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, today me and my colleagues are having different questions for you. So let's start. And I want to just know about you, about your experience and how you led to CSULB in your previous years when you were a student at CSULB.
Yeah, I graduated Long Beach State in 2005. So when I chose Long Beach State, it was mostly because they had an actual marketing, I guess not degree, but an emphasis in marketing versus just like an advertising degree. And I really wanted that marketing experience because to me, marketing is much more than just advertising. Marketing is looking at a goal, a consumer perspective, and understanding that to almost a psychology level and working on building something meaningful that could last a lifetime. It could be from a brand or it could be even just from an idea. So when I went to Long Beach State, it was such an amazing experience. I was a part of the marketing association there, and I was vice president of events and would create different types of events for the community, the school, and the business college in itself. So, it's a unique school. It's definitely, when I go into my career, a lot of my colleagues were from UCLA, USC, and a handful from Long Beach State, some from Fullerton, but it was a lot of different universities and a lot of different colleges that I was able to interact with, and from that see the difference of my education, of going to Long Beach State and having a very hands-on experience working in the marketing field and having professors that spoke to real life situations. I feel like the marketing teachers I at least were exposed to at the time did a very good job of that. So by the time I graduated, I felt like I had really real life experience that I could apply, in addition, because I was also working full time and had internships. So, I did all that in addition to whatever I could to immerse myself in the business college at Long Beach.
Yeah, I can very well relate it to me because I'm also a marketing student, and as you said that there are real life experience. Yeah, I truly agree with that. And I just want to know, as you have told me that you have been engaged in different clubs like marketing association, from that, what do you learn and how you implement it in your professional life?
Yeah, when I was a part of the marketing association, it taught me how to work with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, and in a way, it was like a mini agency. We did events to work with different ad brands and advertisers to bring their products to life on campus in different ways and learn from them. So I feel like being able to have that exposure before I went and got a job in the real life was helpful, because I was able to take leadership roles and speak in front of people and, just learn how to plan something with a lot of different people. And I think marketing is that. Every job I've had for the last 15 years with marketing involved 20 different people doing different things, and all of us coordinating efforts to reach a goal. And I feel like being a part of a marketing association and having that experience really let me understand what that's required and how to do it.
Yeah, thank you. I think that I got motivated to be the part of marketing association, and the participants in this meeting will also lead to find something leadership or any of the club activities. Thank you. And what made you to go into marketing field, and was your journey intentional, or did you find your way there? How did you find your way there?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. So when I went to Long Beach State, I took a class because I had no idea what I wanted to major in. And it was a class that kind of surveyed you and your passions and your skill sets. And at the end of the semester, it told you these are the positions and types of degrees that would fit your personality. And most of them were like, become a doctor, which I was like, I don't know if that's, what I'm into. The other one was the psychologist, which I really was interested in. But for some reason, I went the business route because part of the exercise was looking for jobs and pay rates. And I was like, there's not a lot of jobs out there and the pay is all over. So business over and over again, seems like there was a lot of jobs. It hit every bucket I was looking for and it felt exciting. So I decided to become a business major with an emphasis in marketing. And I then went on to pursue that. And I never stopped. So all the internships I went for, the jobs I went for was all in marketing. And what I learned was what marketing can be is many different things. And what I learned was when I started out in marketing, it was in-store marketing. So I ran like sample couponing for Kmart. I oversaw all of that for every single store, Kmart store. And our agency did that for Walmart, Kmart, and Target. So I was on Kmart, and at the time, this was when they were merging with Sears. And it was a very interesting time because there was a lot of freedom to kind of reinvent itself because of the merge. They didn't really know if they should merge the two. So I got to learn a lot from their product category managers and really help them drive efficiency within the Kmart stores. And one of the things I coordinated was a baby derby with Huggies, where people would have to sign a lot of waivers and basically had a safe area where the babies could, crawl to compete to win diapers for the year. So that was kind of my first big, like, oh, I like this. This was really fun and made an impact on sales because I was able to see Huggy sales after the event, and they did increase. And I got a little bit bored with in-store marketing. And at the time, that's when digital was about to take off. So I shifted into digital marketing. And with that, I first started out as like a blog agency. And the founders were from the music industry. So really, they started this company to help get the artists' albums out, because this is before iTunes. So it was like, how do I get the new album release out and let people know we have new music from these artists? So they would go seed blogs and fan sites, and they were in charge of doing that. And from there, I met this lady who then took me to another agency that ran digital media for Nissan. And that's kind of when I took off, because that's when I was able to learn a lot in a very short amount of time. So from there, I went into digital marketing even deeper and have been there since. And really, that includes everything from like video, mobile, social, anything digital media, VR, AR is under my umbrella. So I guess it chose me in many ways back, because it just, continues to, and even to this day, I, am in digital in-market strategist for InNotion, for Hyundai, and, basically get to look at the landscape and understand their efficiencies and help them build a strategy that becomes more efficient across all efforts. So, it's one of those things where once you start to build a relationship, you understand to what roles really work with your abilities and your expertise, because marketing, like I said, could be many things, and there's many different roles. So, one of the biggest things you'll notice if you looked at my LinkedIn, you'll see I go with generational change. And what that means is, when I see a moment of time where we're learning a new technology, that's when me, Sara, comes alive. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. Let's dive in, because I love new. And I believe when there's new platforms, new ways to connect, that's going to bring new strategies and new thinking. And I think that's really a part of all of our lifetime. This lifetime, at least, is, how do you adapt to the change we're in? What role are you here to be with that change? And it might look different.
Yeah, that's true. Life is a learning process. Yeah, we have one question for you from the listener, for you, Sara.
Yeah.
What was the most surprising thing that is different between the real world and your CSULB Marketing Association class experience?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest difference is, and this is tough because, I graduated a long time ago, so I can't speak for it now. It could be very different, right? But when I went, I think the difference is we learned a lot of systems that we didn't really need to know. So like, we had to take an accounting course. I get it. Totally understand principles, but I never used that stuff, and there's certain things that were very meaningful and things that were just a headache. So, you know, I feel like that was the biggest difference, is like understanding what I really need to learn and understanding what I did not need to learn. And again, I can't speak for it now because it could be different, but, you know, from my experience, there was, you know, more classes I wish I would have had at my disposal versus, you know, the general classes. Now, mind you, I did get a business degree, so I needed to learn the basics, which I get. But like I said, my focus was really marketing. So a marketing degree would have been amazing, you know, to go deeper in. But I'm happy with my experience overall, I would say. I think, you know, Long Beach State, CSULB, it's a special place. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to acknowledge that. And, you know, when you're a part of it, you get what I'm saying. It's special. But it's definitely, I don't think any college or, you know, could give you exactly what you need. I think it's really what you make of it, and what you apply, and how you allow yourself to grow within the time you spend at any university.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Again, we have one question from our listener. What are your thoughts on AI, and are you using it in your current work process?
AI, you know, I like I said, I love technology. AI makes me excited, personally speaking. Yes, I use it in my work process, more so for research, and only GPT-4 and whoever integrates with GPT-4, because ChatGPT-3 is a little outdated. So I need more real stuff. I use it to research. You know, right now my company has a policy with AI and how we can use it. So they're very sensitive, which I agree. It's like we don't want to feed it data that's not publicly out there, and be mindful of how we leverage it in general. So, you know, AI it's a TBD, but it's not going away. It will only get bigger, and I think better in many ways, and help streamline a lot of the things. Some people are afraid of AI, like it's going to replace a lot of our jobs, might replace some of the busy work, but it's still going to need human intervention. I have yet to see an AI spit out something I can do. When it does, I'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, this is scary. And it could happen, but I also feel like AI is here to support us in growing and evolving, and hopefully solving some of these big issues that I believe technology is here to allow us to do. Everything from, I always say, I have this vision that in 10 years from now, maybe less, we'll have like a refrigerator, and you put your saliva in it each week, and it basically will grow the nutrients you need to keep your body at optimum levels. Like, that's how I feel like AI will move our generation forward, mentally, physically, spiritually, all of it, in many ways. So I think we're in for a treat. I think the next 10 years is going to be a huge change in many ways across all industries. And I believe we have a lot to learn. And I believe that we'll continue to use and leverage AI throughout that journey. It's definitely not going away. Will it be regulated? Absolutely. And we'll learn from it. We're going to have some tough learnings, but I think overall we're going to see some positive impacts.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Sarah, as I and most of the people have different meanings, they didn't understand what is sales and marketing. So could you just tell me, people get usually confused with what sales and marketing is, just a single field, but I have seen your LinkedIn account, so you have been working in sales as well as marketing. So could you just tell us the difference between them?
Yeah, for sure. You know, sales is a part of marketing. However, there's different functions within marketing. Marketing could be anything from an analyst to a strategist to a copywriter to an art director, right? There's so many parts of marketing that allow that sales funnel to be activated. So if you have a brand, and you just want to sell the brand, that's fine. But marketing's like, well, what's your story? Who are you reaching? What's, what platforms are most relevant? So it's looking at the entire landscape versus just the action. When, the difference in the roles, when you're in a sales role, you're really focused on a sales goal. It does incorporate marketing because you're obviously selling something that fits into that marketing strategy, a solution. So usually it's a focused sales solution versus like the role I'm in now, it's an overall marketing strategist, right? I'm looking at everything that's been activated. I'm looking at everything that's been done and figuring out where is it effective? Where are we reaching our target audiences? Where are they engaging with? How are we ensuring we're continuing to reach them in ways that are meaningful and within that purchase funnel? So it's a very different mindset. And, some people have both. I think I have both. However, I would say it depends on, your objective, what you're going to prioritize. And, a lot of people think sales is easy, and it's actually hard. I had my own business for 5 years. I still have my own business. And, it's when I had a brick and mortar, it was easy to draw awareness and get people through the door because they had a physical location. But online, very different. You got to have different types of offerings that fit the people's needs of what they're looking for online. So it's just, I would say, just a different focus overall, and it's a different part of the mix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. I know, yeah, brand building and brand awareness plays an important role for any of the business. Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for your wonderful inputs and outputs you have given on the basis of sales and marketing. We have one question from our listener. What kind of internships do you recommend going while in undergraduation? If I want to have a marketing career in fashion makeup industry, where can I start?
I didn't catch the first part. Can you repeat the first part of the question? Sorry.
Yeah. What kind of internships do you recommend going while in undergrad if I want to have a marketing career in fashion and makeup industry? It's just like what internships would you recommend while going in a makeup or fashion industry?
Yeah, I mean, first you got to ask again, it's, what companies would you, if you're looking, so this is a good example. So pretend, for me, this is what I would do. If I was interested in makeup and fashion, I would identify 5 to 10 brands headquarters located in the city I want to live in. So say it's Long Beach, LA. So okay, what headquarters are in LA that are, makeup, fashion that I resonate with? You like their values, you understand their goals, you understand their mission, what they stand for, their product line, you understand it, right? And there's a lot, especially in LA. So 5 to 10. And then from there, you would, really research how are they growing? What are they doing on social media? What are they doing on platforms that you spend time on? And then think about what role would you want to play? Do you want to do social media? Do you want to do art development? Do you want to create the images, right? Do you want to write for them? Do you want to be a content writer? Do you want to, do you want to be an accountant, right? There's so many different types. What role do you want to be? And then you look at the internships available and take what feels most aligned. Sometimes it could be just general, and that's okay. You want experience. So, you'd look at their LinkedIn, see what internships they have. If there's none listed, I would reach out to their HR and ask hey, I can do social media. I can do this. Are you happen to look for an intern, this summer? I'm available for the month of June, right? So be proactive, be specific in in what you're offering, and do that 5 to 10 companies. I guarantee you'll find someone that will respond. If you know someone that works there, even better, because that's usually how you get in, is who you network with. So I would definitely look into your network and see who you know. And then last but not least, that will help you start to build that relationship with that industry and see if that's what you really want. When I first started interning, I thought I wanted to go into sports marketing. I worked for the Dodgers and I loved it. I got to work with all the players. It was pretty much a dream, but I got paid very little and realized that in sports marketing, all the money goes to the players. So I quickly decided not to go that route. I realized how hard you have to work for very little. So you learn. You might want that now, but later you might not want that. So that would definitely be my approach. Does that make sense?
That really makes sense.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a next question for you. As you have perceived your career in digital strategy, what is your what do you enjoy? Sorry, what is the most what do you say? What do you enjoy most of your field?
Yeah, I would say working with different people. You get to understand personalities and strengths and weaknesses. And what's really cool is we all bring something to the table. I feel like every job I've had is different challenges, different perspectives, different growth, different lessons. And I think that's my favorite thing is learning from a group of people and really allowing myself to continue to learn, not think I have to know everything, be able to be adaptable, be able to get feedback and understand and act on that feedback. So constantly being a work in progress is, I think, one of my strengths, and giving myself that permission, because I can easily be a perfectionist. So understanding that when you work with others, it's not always going to be your way, and there's so much opportunity to learn and grow. So that would be my favorite.
Oh, thank you. As you mentioned that you have working with different people, different cross-functional teams, how do you work with them on a single to ensure a cohesive digital strategy, that being a one team and working? So how do you do that?
It's an ongoing effort. It's realizing that every single department you interface with has a different objective, a different goal, and understanding priorities will support that cohesive effort in being successful or not. When we don't understand each other's priorities, that's when things can get out of alignment and fall behind, or the cross collaboration that one was seeking just doesn't happen. So it's understanding who's responsible for what bandwidth do they have, and finding solutions that support each other, not just achieving one person's objectives or agenda. It's really that balance of patience, a lot of communication, and taking advantage of the time you have with people. The one thing that most people don't have a lot of these days is time. So when you have someone's attention, when you have someone's time, do not take it for granted, because you may never have that time again. And, time is valuable. So, make everything count, and anything you're part of, give it all you got. And people notice that. And I think the number one reason I feel like I can always leverage my network is because people know I'm a hard worker. And that's because I show up consistently and I give it all I got.
Yeah, thank you. It was a beautiful insight from your side. We have a question from the listener. How do you network? What do you think is the best way to have a networking?
It's to me, there's two ways. One is working and getting experience and making sure you talk to your colleagues, even if you're virtual. It's important to understand your team and make time to know them personally, without desperation, right? It's that balance, like, hey, we work a lot together, let's build a relationship, right? And then the second part is leveraging that network to introduce you to people you don't know. So, hey, I noticed you know this person. Is there any way you can connect me? I've, done that for recommendations, to getting interviews, to opening doors for new opportunities. Your network is an extension of their network. So just knowing that it all is connected, and when people like you, the doors will continue to open for you in different ways. So LinkedIn is probably, I would say right now, the most relevant platform that people use and will probably continue to use. So, definitely build your LinkedIn profile and, link people in that you really do know, and then ones you want to know, and, be proactive with building that, because I feel like it definitely matters.
Yeah, that's true, because I also feel that, as you told, that personal and professional relationship with our colleagues is really important in our day-to-day life, and the clear communication is the second thing. So what I also personally feel that over communication is the best tool.
Yep.
Every time we should over communicate. Yeah, again, Sarah, we have a question for you. What resources do you use to stay up to date with the newest marketing strategy? This is from our listener.
Yeah, I would say everything industry, whatever industry you're in. I like eMarketer, Ad Age. Those are also good, like, industry publications that give you, top level analysis of what's happening and key stats that are relevant in the marketing world. So and then also events like CES. There's so many, I think, like, future leading ideas. Like, if you ever can get a ticket to CES, I would definitely go. From a marketing perspective, some of the most brilliant work is done there. And then, just industry, a lot of, like, following people that I respect and share a lot of good content. Different. I feel like nowadays AI makes it so much easier. So AI, definitely use a lot of AI to do all kinds of analysis in many different perspectives. So that's definitely especially of late, like, oh my gosh, I've found so much quick information, very relevant. So I would say AI probably top tool for that one.
Yeah, that's true. Now that I think the world is getting dependent on AI for different research.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you are working with different clients, so how do you manage the clients with the needs and goals of a client with the reality of budget and time constraint of the company? So how you balance both the employer and the client?
I feel like the number one saying in any marketing agency, or anyone that handles a client, is there's never enough budget and always a lot of ideas. And it's an ongoing struggle of understanding, where you've been, where you are, where you're headed, and leading with that focus, because you can get caught in the future, you can get caught in the past, and really being present and being flexible and aware and, very connected to what you're up to is important. So I feel like it's one of the key things is, staying connected to what you're up to, and being adaptable when needed, because things change. And if you can shift fast enough, then you can ride the wave of change. If you don't shift fast enough, you're definitely going to learn a lot from that wave.
Yeah, that's the real situation, that with the time constraint, we have to employ both because they are equally important for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I have one more question. As I have gone through your profile on LinkedIn, What makes you to drive through digital strategies to content writer? And again, jumping into the strategy field, how was your journey so far? And what best you like from all the career paths you have been through?
I would say that this is a time, again, that so much is changing, and to be able to be adaptable and learn and be curious is the key to anyone's success. So one thing I've learned is, just be curious. Be more curious than thinking you know it all, because there's so much we don't know. And I think as we continue to move forward, we're going to really see things we've never seen before and be a part of that in new ways. So if you're just getting into marketing, it's kind of a very unique opportunity. You're entering a realm of very seasoned marketers that are about to exit. And we're moving into a time of seasoned visionaries that have been waiting to make some big changes. So as CMOs start to retire and these new generations start to fill those seats, I believe anyone getting into marketing has more than ever before the opportunity to be a part of something we have no idea is going to be a big part of marketing in the near future. So if you're willing to adapt, if you're willing to learn, I believe you'll do very well. And I also believe that's been a part of my journey, is believing in myself and being curious and taking chances, taking pay cuts to get experience in areas that I wanted to go deeper in and have a meaningful relationship with, but that required me to make big changes and try new things. And sometimes it was super successful, and other times I learned a lot. And I think that's, you keep going. And I would say after having a baby, that was probably my biggest time of change. I had a lot of postpartum anxiety, and I decided to get back into marketing to support myself in different ways, but really allow my mind to focus on something bigger than myself. And, I'm so grateful for working at a company like InOcean, because InOcean is, it's full of brilliant minds and people that really care about you. And there's work-life balance and, a lot of parents and families that, are part of that in different ways. And I feel like I'm so grateful to be able to have that curiosity and that desire to dive back in, especially in a time that's changing.
Thank you, Sarah. It's really good to hear such good reviews of your company, because yeah, they should, we feel very grateful that if someone thinks for us. And as we are into a post-COVID phase, I just want to ask a question. How has COVID impacted your field? Is this impact will last forever, or it will be back to normal?
Yeah, I mean, COVID flipped my whole life upside down. I had a brick and mortar business and we closed it, and I moved online, and in that gave myself permission to have a baby and do things differently. And I feel like for a lot of us, COVID allowed us to see life in a new lens. And I think now that we've grown a relationship to COVID and taking care of ourselves, more importantly, I feel like now's a time where we can move forward in a way that feels right for us individually. Everyone's going to be different. And I think now more than ever before, a lot of us are ready to do that. So I would say go at your own pace, but go with your own confidence of wherever direction you're headed is your energy is needed, and trust it. Go for it.
Yeah, that's true. Believe in yourself, take up the new challenges, mold into the situation, and just stay on the track. That's really good. And I think, do you think that mentorship is important to a person?
Yeah, I see there's a question here too. So I'll answer that. Yeah, I had mentors my entire career. It started off with I had a few professors that I felt were my mentors in college. And then every job I've had, I always looked up to someone. Sometimes it's people that scared me because they were so assertive, and other times it's people that had a unique energy to them, and I wanted to get to know them more. And so the mentors changed throughout my journey, and I would say the role that they always played was allowing me to grow in the areas that I couldn't see, and really working with them on projects to really see how they work and learn from them directly. So what if they, luckily a lot of the mentors I had, I either reported to them or worked with them in some capacity. So that was how I was able to accomplish that. So I feel like, every opportunity you get, you can take a step back and look at all the people you interact with and pick one that sparks your attention and learn from them. And there's something there that your energy is like, ooh, I like that. And I want that part of how I introduce myself or how I speak or how I present. Because that's, to me, how we grow is looking at others not in a competitive lens of, oh, they're better than me, but oh wow, they do that really well and I would like to do it like them as well. And not copying them, it's being inspired by them and making it your own, because we all have our own voice and we have our own mind, and it might look different from their output. So keeping in mind that whatever spark you see is not to be copied, but to spark something within you.
Yeah, that's true. And it's also good that we should learn from our previous experiences, our mentors' previous experiences. Yeah, that's true. And I have some last few questions. Do you have any advice for our 49ers interested entering into the field of marketing?
Yeah, I mean, use AI. Use AI for your resume. I've heard great things where you can take a job description, take your resume, and it creates like a customized resume for that job, and use it because it's there to make us smarter and help us position ourselves in ways that are truthful, to our skill sets. And I would say use new technology to better your work, better, make it easier for you. I would also say don't be afraid to share your voice. Start a blog about what you're passionate about. Get your voice out there. You'd be surprised about how many people care, and especially from your generation. So, definitely use what feels right for you, to share yourself, whether that's externally, internally, that's up to you. But I would say don't be afraid to go for something that you feel very qualified for based on your experience and your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you for the beautiful insights you are providing us. So we will be implementing in our life, in our resume, because we are undergrad, grad students. So it will be your insights are really helpful to us. And the last question for you is, do you have any final thoughts, observation, recommendation for the fellow 49ers listeners?
Overall, I would just say this is a time again where there's going to be a lot of opportunities to share yourself and in new ways. So be open to maybe going a different path if that feels right. Be open to trying out a role that maybe you don't feel qualified for, but you'd be surprised because your personality is exactly who they might be looking for, right? And they can teach you the rest. So just be open to possibility, but also be strategic and do your research. Take time to really invest in what you're interviewing for. I know, personally speaking, I recently went down the rabbit hole of trying to find a job, and that I felt so saturated and lost and invisible and rejected, because it's like you just got all these automated rejections. And so what worked for me was looking at companies I value and want to work for and using my network to support me. Now, mind you, I have like 1,700 LinkedIn connections, so I have quite a large network, so that helped. But it's, regardless, you leveraging LinkedIn does matter, and it could support you. So, I know it could be a process trying to find a job, but leverage your network, leverage your skill set. Don't be lazy. Don't expect other people to find a job for you. Be proactive. Hey, I saw this job. This is why I feel like I'd be good. 3 bullet points. If you can support me, here's my resume. No pressure. Let me know, right? If like I said, people don't have a lot of time, so don't expect people to look at your LinkedIn to see if you're relevant. They want to know why you're relevant. And I think the more specific you can be, the better, and do your homework. The more you can really look at companies you want to work for and understand their needs, understand their roles, it'll make your hiring process so different, the interview process so much different, because you're actually speaking passionately versus just desperately.
Yeah, and I have seen there are a lot of recommendations on your LinkedIn profile. So could you just put some focus on that to our fellow listeners?
Yeah, every job I've had, I, usually exited at a time of peacefulness and transition. And so usually my bosses would always ask, like, if there's anything you need, let me know. And I'd always say, that LinkedIn recommendation would be so meaningful to me, especially if you highlight the areas that you feel I excel at and I really bring to the table. It would mean the world and be very helpful. And so if you go on my LinkedIn, you'll see former bosses left reviews, colleagues, and it's all from their heart, very thoughtful. And I also leave reviews too, very thoughtful reviews. So returning the favor when asked is good too. So if you have an internship, make sure before you leave, whoever you're working with, you get that LinkedIn recommendation. That's I've been hired off of recommendations alone, so they're important.
Thank you, Sarah, for providing a lot of wonderful experience and a lot of good gesture and everything, which will be really beneficial to us. Thank you for providing your time to have a chit chat, a conversation with me and our fellow listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both so much for such a great chat. I think that this was one of our best, and I'm very appreciative to both of you. As we are wrapping this up, I just want to remind everybody that we will have this recording up in our video library at www.csuob.edu/alumni. And I'm not sure, I think Sarah might still be with us, but if she is, hi. Yeah, if people had questions for you or follow-up questions or wanted to pick your brain a little bit more, how might they get in touch with you?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. That is the best place for me. It's LinkedIn/Sara Wong. Yep, there you go. And just send me a message. If I don't respond right away, it's only because I'm busy, but I will get back to you as soon as possible. Definitely request to link me in and stay connected.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Deeksha, thank you so much for a wonderful moderation of this chat. And we'll go ahead, and if you both could stay behind for just a moment while we say goodbye to everyone on this chat. Everyone here, I hope you had a great experience, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.